I'm gonna go over and show you exactly how to get a business loan using only your personal credit. And you could get one fresh out of prison. I was able to get one maybe a year out of prison, but my credit was all right. I had like a 600, 630. So don't get discouraged if you have bad credit, because you can easily fix your credit. But being in prison or felon doesn't have any bearing on whether they'll give you a business loan or not. And they'll give you a business loan for a brand new LLC if you just do the steps I'm gonna go over with. But there is a downside as well, because I'm getting sued by a bank for not paying them back. And it's only because I went into some hard times and I spent all my money on a car dealership when I should have did some more market research. So I'm going through getting sued. So we'll go over that later in the video and what not to do. But first and foremost, you probably don't want to hear this. You're going to need to have a job or some kind of income coming in, because you're actually going to get a business loan for a brand new business that has no money coming in for the business. So you're going to have some money coming in personally, like a job, W-2, it doesn't matter. They just want to know if you're going to be able to pay them back. And my first business loan I got, I can't remember what my credit was, but it might have been a 700. I got another business loan from Navy Fed, too, low 600, 620, 630 or something like that. But the first business loan, I did have pretty decent credit. But that, like I said, if you have okay credit or no credit at all, you can easily solve that. What I did when I got out of prison was I went and got me a secured card from a bank. So I went and got me the secured credit card from the same bank I got the business loan from, because you want to start a relationship with that bank. So I put $300 down. I was able to get a secured credit card. I kept the usage under like 10% and my credit shot way up. And then I was able to go back later to that bank to get a business loan. So you kind of want to start a relationship even if your credit isn't good at the time. But when you go get the LLC, so you're going to have to get an LLC, right? You can normally get it from your state's website. At the time, I got mine from LegalZoom. It was like $50 a month or something. They had a payment plan. I think I ended up paying like $120 or something like that to get the LLC, but they let you get it off top and you only have to pay $50. In the state of Florida, I think the LLC comes out to about $80, but I didn't know this at the time. But either way you want to do it, it doesn't really matter. There's all kinds of websites and stuff to get your LLC through as well. But you're gonna want to get a business address. I use iPostal. To this day, I use iPostal too. It's actually an app on your phone you could download. They have a website too. And what they do is that if any mail comes in for you, they will send a picture of the mail to you. So that's, and you know, people are gonna say you can't get funded with iPostal and you need an actual physical address, but that's BS. I've used iPostal and I've got funded multiple, and when I say multiple times, I mean multiple times. I got 15,000, 7,000, 5,000, 5,000. I don't know. There's all kinds of, there's all kinds of loans I'm missing too. But that's the business address website I used. You could use whatever. There's all kinds of apps. You can even ask ChatGPT, but that's what I use. So the business address, you're going to get a business telephone number. They have a few different ones. I've used Grasshopper before. Sideline is another one. My favorite was Sideline. It was like $15 a month, and when someone calls your phone, it rings right to your phone. But you could also go to the whatever carrier you use, like AT&T or whatever, and they'll put a business line on your phone too, so you'll have two phone lines on your phone, but that's a little more expensive. I think I kind of like that better now, but so you don't have to like go back and forth through apps and stuff. But Sideline is how I started out. You're going to need a business website. And back when I was, you know, first in the game, the business website I was getting made through Fiverr. I'd go on Fiverr and get me a business website made by somebody out there, one of those vendors. The guy will make the website. But with ChatGPT these days, a business website is nothing, man. You can literally get on Canva. They got Canva code. You can pull up ChatGPT. This is how I do it now. You pull up ChatGPT and you go to Canva. You have both screens open and you tell ChatGPT to write you code for a website. You talking to ChatGPT. You don't got to type it. Tell them what kind of business or what kind of website you want to make, and then once it'll spit out all the code, you just go over to Canva and there's a AI little code AI guy in the create. When you first log into Canva, you'll see it. It'll say create with AI, and it has a coding feature, and then you paste the code in there. It'll make your website fully functional, and there you got a business website. Make sure you check, you know, whatever your business name is, make sure your domain's available. A lot of banks want to see .com, but you can use .net. It doesn't really matter, man, honestly. Just, you know, remember, the more money you want to get, the more professional you want to look. You know, you think about it yourself. Like, if you're lending somebody something, you want to make sure they're legit. So you want to see a business website, business address, a business telephone number. It just looks legit, you know, especially if you're trying to get lots of money. So you get all those. You go to a local credit union, and the reason I say credit union is because credit unions are meant to help the community. They are non-profit. A bank is for-profit, so a bank is going to try to clap you on the loan, or not even on the loan. A bank is going to try to clap you. Not only that, but they're not going to be as lenient as a credit union, because a credit union is literally designed to help the community that they serve. So that's why I say go to a local credit union. But if you got Navy Fed, or you're somehow tied to the military or something, that's another awesome option, because they're going to want to do business with you just on the fact that you're, you know, part of that bank or part of the military or whatever. So if you know somebody that's in the military or something, that's also a really good place. So you're going to need the income. You're going to maybe have to have W-2s or pay stubs. You're going to want to get a business website, a business address, and a business telephone number. You possibly want to start a relationship, like I told you how I got the $300 secured credit card, before you even start doing a business loan, because, you know, this is a long-term game. I was able to get 15 grand my first time, so think about that. And I was only out of prison a year. If you guys, I didn't even know all this. I literally learned all this from trial and error. I'm giving you guys the game so you could go in there and get way more money. I know Navy Fed will give you 25 bands if you do it right. So, you know, you got to have decent credit. You got to have a job. Get all the addresses and telephone numbers and all that stuff. Go open up an account at a local credit union. I would deposit money in there initially. You don't want to keep playing with the money, taking it out. Like, if you don't have the money to put in there and you're going to need it for bills or whatever, don't put the money in there, because when you start taking money out, most of the time the bank, you're going to have a personal account and a business account, right? Most of the time. Not all banks. Bank of America doesn't do that. But you could have a business account without a personal account. But if you start transferring money back and forth, they're going to look at that, especially when you first open the business account and you deposit money and you start transferring, taking out. It looks extremely unprofessional, and they want to know where the money's going. So if you're getting, you know, if you got the money, put it in the business account and leave it, and then keep making deposits. You know, of course you want to have a real business. This is not a scam, but you don't have to necessarily have income coming in. You just want to, you know, kind of make it look like it. You want to put the, you know, money in there just so they can see what's going on. And if you got a secured credit card prior to that, then that's, you know, really good, and you're making payments on your secured credit card. So you open up the business account, the business checking account, and then you are probably going to want to have a business plan. And I used to go on Fiverr, which is like a sourcing, you know, website for people who make business plan stuff. But the way ChatGPT is, you can literally make a business plan in 5 minutes on ChatGPT talking to it. So you're going to want a business plan, and then a lot of banks will ask you for a pro forma statement. And a pro forma statement is a financial projection for how much your business is expected to make. Okay, and what they're going to do is they're going to give you a loan based on how much your business is expected to make, not how much you make at your job. All right, so you're going to want to go get a pro forma statement, and that should be included in the business plan. A business plan isn't a pro forma statement, but you want to include a pro forma statement in the business plan. And, you know, you want to bring all that to the bank and ask them to get a business checking line of credit using your personal credit as a guarantee. That's going to be the hook. And they're going to give you a business loan using your personal credit as a guarantee for a business that hasn't been making any money, because you're guaranteeing it personally, all right? And I've been denied at some banks. A lot of times the banks I have been denied is because the business industry was high risk. So you got to watch that. When you start your business, you got to make sure that if you're doing it for a business loan, you're not putting in for a high risk industry. And a lot of high risk industries, like I got denied for putting in a business loan to become a freight broker. These are high risk industries because a lot of cash, you know, flows through them. There's a lot of fraud and stuff. So when you go to, you know, do your LLC, make sure you look up your NAICS code, because there's going to be a spot where you got to put your NAICS code at. Some people call it NAICS code, but you know, so you want to make sure that whatever code you're putting in, it's wide enough. You don't want to niche yourself down into something. You want it to be, most companies, for instance, Kmart, Walmart, it doesn't have what they sell in the name. So I made a mistake when I first got out. I got an LLC and I put it Island Cleaning Services, right? But that literally boxed me into cleaning, and you don't want to box yourself in. So put something broad. So your LLC, you could always file for a DBA. So I suggest making your LLC whatever your name is. Like my first, like when I started learning, my LLC was Nathan Richard LLC, which is my name, right? And then I was doing business as AutoLink, and AutoLink was my car dealership that I first had originally. Okay, so you can do as many DBAs as you want for your LLC. So it's one LLC will kind of be like the umbrella, and then you'll have all kinds of DBAs hanging off that umbrella. It'll look like a tree branch, right? And as long as you keep your finances separate, those are all separate businesses. So I suggest getting an LLC that doesn't niche down. Even if you don't want to do your name, you could do something like, I don't know, something wide. You know, marketing services, because you don't want to put like have the specific business name in it, because it'll literally close you off if you want to pivot and do a different business, you know. And no big businesses have their service in it. None of them do, if you think about it, right? And that's probably the best way to go about that. Also, when you go to get your LLC, if you do use LegalZoom, don't. The EIN number, right, is your business social security number. So the EIN number is free. You can go on irs.gov. It doesn't matter what state you're in, and your EIN number is free. So don't fall for the hype if someone's trying to sell you an EIN number, because a lot of pop-ups, you'll get these like marketing pop-ups, and they'll try to get you to actually pay for the EIN number when it's free and you can get it for 5 minutes. So just remember that. And the registered agent, when you go to file, a registered agent is just someone who collects your mail. So if you're filing off LegalZoom, again, they're gonna try to hit you for the registered agent, but you could be your own registered agent. You don't have to put in for a registered agent. You just have to be open during certain times. If somebody calls you or something, you're basically the process server for your business. Now, if you got a large corporation, you might want somebody else, but just to start up, you're getting a business loan, you could be your own registered agent. And also remember, if you're going to file your LLC, I would put my business address on the LLC, because people will be able to see your home address if you don't. All right, and another thing with so I'm getting sued right now. I got a business loan and I secured it personally, and I had to stop paying because it came to a point where I was either going to lose my house by not paying rent or pay the dang bank back. And I mean, that's the no-brainer, right? And I didn't really know they could sue you. So just because you can't pay and you can get it wiped off your credit, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not. Because you'll see, I've heard people on, you know, Facebook and Instagram, they're like, oh, you could just stop paying the banks and everything's going to be okay. And that is true in some instances, because, you know, I had to stop paying a lot of different banks back, right? Because like I said, it was either pay rent, or, you know, pay the banks. And that's a stupid, you know, everybody going to pay the rent, screw the bank. And I messed my credit up, and I was able to get the stuff off my credit, right? So you can't see it on my credit, which is a good thing. But at the same time, it doesn't make you not liable for the money. And the mistake I made is I got this business loan. I immediately jumped into a car dealership when I shouldn't have done that. I put a bunch of money down on rent, signs, because you got to have a brick and mortar store in Florida, you know, to have a car dealership. So I put all this money down, blew all this money, and I had no idea of the industry. And I rather, if I was doing it this day, I would have kept the money, not blown it. Don't go blow it on gold, because I did all that. I blew it on gold, necklace, like I've done that before, and that's the stupidest thing you could do. The best thing you want is to have peace in your life. So when you got that money in your bank account, just hold on to it, do your market research, and start a low-cost startup, because you don't even know if you don't like that industry. Like, I've done multiple businesses and I tried to do the business, right? But then I realized that I don't even want to do this business. I didn't even know it sucked so bad. And every business has a hidden dark side that you don't want to, you know, it's crap underneath. It may look glamorous and you see all the highlights on Instagram and stuff, but the actual business part sucks. So make sure you don't jump into something you know nothing about, and make sure you jump into something that you would actually like doing, because when the stuff hits the fan, you're gonna have to have some type of passion for it. And so I am getting sued. I'll also let you guys know what happened on that. I'm gonna be all right at the end of the day. You know, there's all kinds of different ways to get through it. Might have to make payments, might just get dismissed. I'm gonna fight it, you know, but you can definitely get a business loan for your business fresh out of prison. It doesn't even matter how long you've been locked up, and your credit is an easy fix. If you ever need to fix your credit, you could go on ChatGPT and ask it, what do you need? Go on annualcreditreport.com, download your credit reports for free. You get your TransUnion, your Equifax, and your Experian for free, and you can download it. It'll be a PDF version. Upload it into ChatGPT and ask what you need to do to fix this, and they'll fix it. They'll tell you exactly what to do, and just follow those directions. It'll print the forms out for you and everything. You have an awesome we're in the greatest opportunity ever in life with this AI, and I don't really think there's any excuse for nobody not to be working and working towards getting rich. Maybe not getting rich overnight, but working towards wealth. You have a partner, you know what I mean? You got an AI partner, you can make it do anything. So that's just something to think about. If this video helped you and you've made it this far in the video, comment the word felon. I want to see, you know, where I'm at. I made this video to help somebody get out of prison and get a business loan. Everything I said is true. I've had multiple business loans. This technique works. Of course, you're gonna have to have decent credit and a job, but you could literally be working at McDonald's and make this work for you fresh out of prison. You just got to, you know, put a little work in, put a little elbow work in. So, you know, comment the word felon if you made it this far. I love you guys.